Hey everyone, it's coming up to almost 2 weeks since Cold Symmetry dropped their free Rotten Autumn update for Mortal Shell, and I finally found time to sink my teeth into it. So if you haven't had time to get into it yourself, this video is for you as I'm going to go over all the changes that were in the update. You'll know the update is live when you can see this awesome looking pumpkin with a metal stem in your menu. You'll see additional content there. If you click on that, you'll see you can toggle the new content off or on from there. The seasonal content enabled. If you click it, it'll be disabled, and then just click it to enable it again. From the same menu just there, you can see you can choose an alternative boss fight soundtrack and have music from death metal band Rotting Christ play instead of the main soundtrack. That's pretty cool, but I won't play that here just in case of music copyright claims and that sort of thing. But yeah, switch it on if you want a whole new audio experience in boss fights. You don't need to switch it on though to have the seasonal content enabled. First cab off the rank as far as changes go, and probably the one people will care about the most, is that the update introduced 10 new skins, or as they're called in Mortal Shell, shades. Each shell received 2 of these new shades, and there's also 2 for your foundling. That's the skinwalker version of yourself when you're not wearing a shell. To unlock each of these shades, you need to interact with Gorf, the giant frog, and you have to do so in a specific way depending on which shade you're trying to go for. Right here, I'm showing you the path. The whole time I've been talking, I'm showing you the path to where Gorf the frog is, and then I'll be able to show you exactly how you interact with him to unlock these shades. First thing you have to do is you have to talk to him. Once you talk to him, a menu will be on the screen on the bottom that says Feed Gorf, and you'll have a number of options to feed him depending on what you've got in your inventory. For the first shade, you can give him 5 roasted rat. You can't give him rotten food or rotten gourd or boiled frog for it. You can only give him 5 roasted rat to get the first shade. To get the second shade, you can give him 4 rotten food, or you can give him 1 rotten gourd, or you can give him 10 roasted rat, all depending on what's in your inventory. There's also an option to feed him boiled frog, but yeah, that's not going to work out very well for anyone involved. I'll leave that for you to discover for yourself though. So to show you through, here I'm going to click on roasted rat 5 times. That's to feed him 5 roasted rat. I'm in the Harros shell, so I'm going for the first shade on Harros. Once I've fed him 5 roasted rat, then I can click on the no option there. That will take me out to the dialogue, and then I could just back out of that menu. Once I've backed out, I want to access my loot and play music to Gorf. Playing music to him after you've fed him the roasted rat will trigger a cutscene. In this cutscene, he'll appreciate your music so well that he'll vomit the skin all over you. And that's how you get your shade. Now that the shade is on you, the game will pause and show you the shade momentarily, and then it will tell you the name of the shade. In this case, the black and gold one for Harros is the Sun Vassal shade, which is pretty cool, probably my favorite Harros shade. And that's the exact same procedure you repeat for every single shell in the game to get the first shade. Alright, so now that we've seen how to get the first shade, let's look at how to get the second shade. I'll use Harros again right while we're here. For this, you can give him one of the 2 other options, which is 4 rotten food or 1 rotten gourd. I'll give him 1 rotten gourd. Once I give him that, all I have to do again is click no and exit out just like we did before, and he'll vomit the second shade. So sit down, play the loot, get the cutscene. And vomit the shade. So there we go. That's the second shade for Harros, and it's called the Burden Keeper. Also a pretty nice shade. So yeah, you just repeat that for every other shade, which I'll show you now. This is Yellow King. That's Eredrim's first shade. And I'll just quickly show you me getting the second shade for Eredrim. I gave him 4 rotten food for this. Just remember, for the second shade, you can give him what I'm giving here, or you can give him 10 roasted rat, or you could give him 1 rotten gourd. Whatever you've got in your inventory, basically. And of course, then you just play the loot to him and he'll vomit it all over you. So I'll skip straight to the skin, and that's the Anointed Butcher's skin, which is Eredrim's second shade. Pretty cool. And that's the Count, which is the first shade for Solomon. That's actually a Dracula-inspired shade, according to the devs. Pretty cool, red and black. We like it. Solomon's second shade is called KVLT, and it's a white and black one. Also pretty cool. Teal's first shade is called Slytherin. No prizes for guessing what that was inspired by. Teal's second shade is Serpent's Lust, a red one. It's really cool. I like this one a lot. Probably my favourite teal skin, actually. The Foundling's first skin is called Super Meat Boy, and I think that might be my favourite shade in the game. That just looks so awesome. I really, really like this, and it inspires me to play more without a shell. Just for the look. That is so cool. The Foundling's second shade is a gold one called Aurum Ascendant. It's also pretty cool. Makes him kind of look a bit more like an android. I still prefer the red one, but that is also still very cool. There's also a new photo mode. All you have to do is access the main menu area, click on photo mode, and then there's a bunch of options that you can select to take a photo. Unfortunately, I really wanted to show those options off in this video, but for some reason it bugged out or glitched out on me and I couldn't access any of those options. I don't know why. I could only do very basic stuff like, you know, panning up and down and that sort of thing. But yep, there's a photo mode. Play around with it. Hopefully it'll work better for you than it did for me. Weapon-wise, the Smouldering Mace got a buff. Its base damage went up 10%, so it now hits much harder than it did before. Well, 10% harder. Very cool weapon. I like the Smouldering Mace. I don't use it much, but I might start using it more from now on. They didn't add any new weapons or make any other changes, but the Ballistazooka that sits on your back once you've bought it can now be hidden. All you have to do is go into Options and then scroll down to the bottom and you'll see there's an option to toggle it on and off. So yeah, you can now hide it if you want to. I prefer to hide it. Items-wise, they didn't add anything new, but they did boost the effectiveness of baguettes. They now heal you better than before. The familiarity on mine is low, so it won't heal me much here. Not that it would matter if it was maxed, because baguettes are rare enough that you'll hardly ever have them to use anyway. Same goes for mangoes, which now fill your health, fill all of your resolve, and grant you glimpses. But like baguettes, they are so rare and tricky to find that this change won't mean much to most people. At max, I just maxed the familiarity on that and got 3 glimpses and full resolve. I probably would have got full health too, but I was already full health. But anyway, they've been buffed. Sesta Janessa now apparently sells 2 tar items. For me, I could only see one though. I'm not sure what or where the second one is supposed to be, or if that's a typo in the patch notes or something in the update notes, I don't know. Maybe I need to get to NG++. I'm not sure, but there's definitely only one there for me. The rest of the changes apply to bosses. Let's start with Imrod. Imrod has had a change to his battle walk. I'm not really sure what his battle walk actually is, but I think it's just when he casually just walks you down from a distance. I think they just tweaked it to make it a little slower or a little easier to keep your distance from him or something. I'm not 100% sure, but I think this is it here where he walks towards you. I'm honestly not familiar enough with his battle walk to know exactly what's changed, but I'll take their word for it that something's been tweaked there. I mean, I could be wrong, but it just seems like maybe it's a little slower or looks a little cooler, or maybe he's doing it more frequently. There he's doing it again. Yeah, I'm not sure. Either way, they have made adjustments to his battle walk. The second change to Imrod is a tweak to the animation of his kick. You can see it's very easy to see coming. It's a lot easier to read than it used to be. A lot easier to get out of the way of it. So that's a positive change. Tarsus is the ice skating boss, and sometimes in the past he would just decide to ice skate all around you and over the place and never stop. That's something that's been fixed. Now he won't ice skate like his life depends on it. He'll skate once or twice and then come at you. So that's a really great change. Also, additionally, they've expanded the hitbox window on his second phase sword thrust. So now when he does that big long sword thrust towards you in the second phase, you've got a wider window to dodge and counter it. So that's also another good change. These tweaks have made the Tarsus boss fight way more enjoyable. And they also made the Imrod boss fight way more enjoyable. A great change has been made to the Unchained, who's the final boss. His minion phases now, the minions will spawn more staggered. You can see them spawning there apart. By not spawning in so close to each other, they're now a lot easier to deal with than they were before. Before, they were just an absolute pain in the ass. They're still a bit of a pain, but they're not so much of a pain now that you can't handle them one by one. So that's a phenomenal change, a really good change that's made this boss fight so much more enjoyable. What some people might find a little less enjoyable is the final boss can no longer be perma-stunned to death. That's when you use the golden bell and the weapon ability method to continually stun lock the boss like you're seeing here over and over until they're dead, effectively avoiding all the minions and all the different phases of the fight. In my Mortal Shell walkthrough, I showed how to do this. It is a little bit cheesy, I admit, but I thought at the time it was always worth doing because it helped you avoid what I considered to be an awful final fight, thanks to the mechanics of those minions. But now that the new changes to the minion spawn rate are in, the final fight is actually pretty fun now, so I don't really think it's bad that they removed this at all. Only thing is, nobody will ever beat the top speedrunner's time now, as not being able to stun lock the boss to death will add a few minutes to every speedrun. So whoever's got the top speedrun now is probably going to keep it forever. Anyway, that's it. That's all the changes with the Rotten Autumn update. It's not a Ghost of Tsushima level of free update. There's not a lot of new content there, but there is some new stuff, and the boss tweaks certainly made those at least 3 boss fights much, much more enjoyable. I think it's pretty good. It's free after all. Kudos to the devs for doing that for us. And yeah, so all right, that's the Unchained about to die from the stun lock method that you can no longer do. And with that, I will let you guys go. Thanks for watching. And in fact, to close out the video, I'll leave you with Gorf jigging away to some music because why not?